If an area receives enough rain in the monsoon season and it still faces water scarcity, what could be the reason? Is it possible? You need to understand that the monsoon is the primary source of water. However, this water needs to be collected and conserved. How do we do that? We must have underground water tanks, recharge pits, or let it simply seep into the soil. Wait, but if water seeps into the soil, it is gone, right? Can we get it back again? Yes, we can. That brings me to introduce you to another age-old concept. It is called as water harvesting. Why do we need to harvest water? The answer to the question is quite simple enough: to prevent water scarcity. But how is water scarcity created? Well, let us look at several causes of this problem. Though the rain might provide us enough water, availability of water would depend on how we treat this rainwater. When we cut down trees and reduce the vegetative cover, water runs off the surface instead of seeping into the soil. This can flood the rivers. Humans also create diversion of local rivers and streams and thus create dry areas downstream. This will cause artificial water scarcity for the people who live around that area. Another major reason of water scarcity is the pollution of water. Water once polluted cannot be used. And lastly, the irrigation methods too give rise to wastage of water. When humans intervene in the natural processes, it affects the availability of water. However, once again, we must understand how local people using their traditional methods of water harvesting help conserve water. The Kuls in Himachal Pradesh are an excellent example of a judicious water usage community. This community creates small channels to divert water from a particular river or a stream. This diversion, however, must be understood very closely. The small canals go right up to the farthest houses and water is supplied to them first and not to the closest houses. That's because if the closest houses utilize all the water, there'll be nothing left for the farthest ones. At certain places, water is allowed to seep into the soil to recharge the groundwater table. This is an excellent way to use water for one's needs and at the same time allow the water to be naturally preserved. However, in today's world, water is being used excessively and there isn't any consideration for its natural movement. This causes water scarcity. Another major problem is the construction of dams for economic purposes. Why are dams undesirable? They help provide water and generate electricity, right? But as you know, every action has its pros and cons. The building of a dam leads to many problems as well. What problems could such a structure create? The man-made obstruction to a naturally flowing water body leads to the areas on either side of it to be submerged. This would mean loss of livelihood to the people who stay there. It also unhomes people, in return leading to displacement. The water too is used only by the people nearest to the dams, and the faraway residents face acute water shortage. That's not really fair. There is also a huge loss of biodiversity due to submergence of the surrounding land. Not forgetting the large number of trees which are felled to build these mega structures. Just like every coin has two sides, the desires of human comfort threaten the environment too. Take the Indira Gandhi Canal for instance. It did prove beneficial to the people who suffer from droughts and water shortage. But it was at the cost of several residents who lost their hands as they lay in the path of this massive project. The Narmada Bachao Andolan was another movement to help prevent such loss. It protested to help save the livelihoods and the ecosystems which were at stake due to this mega dam project. So what should we do exactly to save water? We cannot stop using water entirely, can we? But there sure has to be a way out. Let us explore those ways in our next video.